ụmụnne m ndị Anambra. Well, you employed me to lead the process of building a livable and prosperous homeland. After swearing in on the 17th March 2022, I worked for 8 hours and 45 minutes that day and have kept working hard every day to make you proud. A lot is ongoing, and we will report to you in due course. However, we recognize from the first minute that restoring peace and security will be foundational to our larger agenda as a people. We devoted several paragraphs in our inaugural speech to underscore the grave security challenges we inherited with the deadly criminal gangs largely in occupation of 8 local governments as at the time. You may recall that I was attacked by the so-called unknown gunmen while addressing youths at a rally in March 2021, leaving 3 policemen dead, and indeed hardly any candidate could campaign freely in the 7 local governments of the South Senatorial Zone in 2021. I knew the grave situation and determined to confront it. I met with the State Security Council for 3.5 hours on the first day, and there was consensus to deploy both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches as we searched for the solution. While the security agencies have been doing their best, and here they are, working very hard with limited resources, we are convinced that sustainable peace and security cannot be achieved without the cooperation and solidarity of the people. Consequently, we went to work to mobilize our people and address the wider socioeconomic and legacy issues fueling agitations and insecurity. We consulted, for example, we consulted and collaborated with the Southeast Joint Body of Bishops and Traditional Rulers, issuing joint statements with the Joint Body of Bishops organizing prayer sessions in the entire Southeast on the 4th of April 2022, with the goal of ending the sit-at-home and ensuring an enduring peace and security in the Southeast. We also organized Anambra Peace and Security Dialogue with the leadership of the Christian denominations, town unions, traditional rulers, youth organizations, women market, transport unions, as well as political leaders and non-indigens on the 2nd of April 2022, calling for an end to the sit-at-home and peace and security in the Southeast on April there. We offer the olive branch to all the armed youths in the forest to come out, surrender their guns, and with the commitment that our government would help to retrain and empower them to contribute positively to our development. Our government has, in our proposed revised budget, provided handsomely for the youth empowerment. The official leadership of IPOB also repeatedly issued statements dissociating itself from the senseless and destructive sit-at-home on Mondays, etc., as well as the kidnappings and criminal actions of gangs in the state and the Southeast. We set up the Truth, Justice, and Peace Committee with the goal of getting to the remote and the immediate causes of the agitation and criminality with a view to proffering systematic and lasting solutions. We pride ourselves as the light of the nation, and Anambra will continue to be a land of opportunity for every Nigerian, as well as non-Nigerians. We will continue to work hard with security agencies to ensure security of life and property in our state. Ụmụnne m ndị Anambra, the hour has come for us to step up our game and take back our state. The tiny but vicious gangs that have invaded our state and terrorized us are mostly in 8 local governments in Anambra and 3 neighboring local governments in Imo State. They are in our forests, they are in our communities and houses owned by individuals. They don't come from the air and hence are not unknown gunmen. They are not unknown. They are known. You know them, but are either too scared to speak up or out of indifference. But for how long will you be silent while our people continue to be killed in the most cruel and barbaric manner? It is because we have remained ambivalent, opting to sit on the fence rather than take a stand against an obvious evil that has made a minor saw to fester so cancerously. The hour has now come, and we must rise up to take our destiny in our hands. Everyone, indeed everyone, has a role to play. While we continue to commit Anambra into the hands of God, we as a people must rise up to clean and cleanse our land. The security agencies will continue to do their part, but we, the people, must proclaim that enough is enough and demonstrate full ownership. Consequently, as complementary measures to the great efforts of the security agencies, our government has decided on the following immediate steps. 1. Once again, we are releasing several telephone numbers for the public to report any criminality or suspicious conduct. These phone numbers are managed in my office in strictest confidentiality. Call us or text, SMS or WhatsApp, and we shall respond expeditiously. The phone numbers are listed, and there are 7 of them now, instead of the earlier 2 given out some 2 weeks ago. Second, in addition to the 10 million cash reward we placed on those who gruesomely murdered Honorable Okechukwu Okoye and his aide, we are also offering a cash reward of at least 1 million to anyone who provides useful information leading to the arrest of any of the leaders or members of these criminal gangs, including those who support them financially or in kind, and all those enforcing the illegal sit-at-home order, or anyone involved in kidnapping, murder, and arson, or access to the camps where the criminals operate from. The bounty will depend upon the profile of the criminal. Their leaders will attract higher amounts. Similar bounty will be paid to anyone who gives information about anyone on location where hard drugs, especially the notorious Mili, are manufactured in the state. The state government hereby assures any informant of confidentiality in this process and will not disclose your identities or contacts. These numbers, like I said, will be managed in my office very closely to me, and you can be sure of the confidentiality. With effect from tomorrow, Friday, the 26th day of May, a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew is hereby placed on motorcycles, Okada, tricycles, keke, and shuttle buses in the following 8 local governments: Agụata, Ihiala, Ekwusigo, Nnewi North, Nnewi South, Ogbaru, Orumba North, and South local governments until further notice. We will review this and say whether we then extend it to the rest of the state. But let's start with this, if you like, the red local governments. Until further notice also, motorcycles, keke, and shuttle buses are banned from operating in these local governments on Mondays until the sit-at-home completely stops. All through Monday, none of this should operate, because that's what they use to go and force their sit-at-home. The use of every community in the zone are hereby enjoined to assist the security agencies in the implementation of this policy, and they are mandated to seize any such motorcycle or tricycle on the spot. Local vigilantes should report such motorcycles or tricycles, keke, immediately, and they will be confiscated by government and the owner prosecuted. No part of Anambra State, house, bush, or forest shall be used as camps for these criminals. Anyone with a gun in a camp is considered a criminal in Anambra State, and the government and people will work with security agencies to flush them out. The state government shall, pursuant to its powers under the Land Use Act, revoke and acquire any land found to be harboring these criminals for public purpose. Henceforth, every community is required to provide information on any part of their land occupied by these criminals as camps. If the community fails to do so, the government will take over such land as government property. All landlords are hereby directed to proceed on Operation Know Your Tenant by keeping appropriate records of their tenants and report anyone suspected of being involved in criminal activities. Each community leadership must keep full register of all tenants in their communities, their occupation, etc., and keep an eye on the activities. The state government shall, as an emergency measure, disband the leadership of any community which fails to report criminal activities in their communities or immediately respond to the request contained in this address. All market leaders and stakeholders are hereby charged to join the communities in taking back their territory and monitor the activities in their markets. They are all required to return weekly security reports to the state government. Everybody who either in person or through telephone calls demands cash support or ransom from anyone in furtherance of any criminal activities or groups should immediately be reported to the government via the telephone lines that we have provided. 9, all transporters, bus drivers, shuttle drivers, tricycle, keke, and motorcycle or Okada riders must immediately report any suspicious passengers. Because it has come to the knowledge of the state government that over 80% of transport operators use fake plate numbers and identities, all transport operators in Anambra must henceforth re-register their vehicles, tricycles, and motorcycles with their valid means of identification and their biometrics to be captured. This exercise shall immediately be commenced, and anyone who defaults in doing that after 4 weeks from today will be treated as a suspect and adequate measures taken against him or her. 10, all hotels are directed to obtain the means of identification of their guests and keep an inventory of all guests in their hotels. We'll have some sporadic spot checks. The management of the hotel should immediately report any suspicious person or persons or group of persons checking into or converging in their hotels. Immediate sanctions would attend to any dereliction in this regard, including possibly shutting down or demolition of such hotels. All fuel stations are hereby directed to, within 4 weeks from today, place surveillance cameras in their stations and to keep records generated by those cameras in order to assist the state government when required in tackling these criminals who inevitably fuel their vehicles at these fuel stations. Finally, let me urge our people to remain calm. This season shall pass. The God of Anambra assures that we shall overcome the forces of darkness. Indeed, this tough beginning foretells of a more glorious future. We thank all the stakeholders in the Anambra project, and particularly we thank the security agencies who are here for their determination and sacrifice. These security agencies sacrifice quite a lot to keep us where we are, even with very lean resources, taking great. And we enjoin our religious leaders to continue to lift up the state in prayers and to also mobilize our people as they fight evil in our land.